I'm dealing with shit. I'm dealing.
This man was just on live breaking down in tears, and now clips of him and Jay Prince Jr. throwing hands are flooding every corner of the internet. But what the blogs aren't really telling you is how a family worth hundreds of millions allegedly turned his own blood against him, and that's where the Real story begins. So here's how it all went down. Right now, while you're watching this, footage is making rounds across every major platform, and the entire hip-hop community is going crazy over it. We're talking about video showing Finesse2tymes and Jay Prince Jr., two people who were supposed to be making money together as business partners, caught in what looks like a full-blown physical altercation that completely destroyed any remaining hope of them ever being cool again. This isn't the first time tension between them has surfaced either. Footage and reports have popped up before, with incidents stretching from 2023 through 2025 showing near fights during dice games, affiliate snatching chains, and heated moments that almost turned into all-out chaos. There was even a situation in 2024 where OG Boo Dirty had to physically step in just to stop things from going too far. Every one of those moments was a warning sign the culture could see clearly, but nobody could stop the tension from building. And now, with this newest footage going viral, the situation has completely exploded into the open. But to really understand why this clip has everyone talking, why this isn't just another celebrity fight but the final chapter of something much deeper and more complicated, you have to rewind everything back to the very beginning. You have to understand the deal, the contract, and the paperwork that set this entire situation into motion and turned what should have been a major comeback into something that felt more like a trap. Let me take you back to the summer of 2022. Ricky Hampton Jr., the man the streets and the world know as Finesse2tymes, had just gotten out of federal prison after serving close to 4 years on a firearms possession case tied to a 2017 nightclub incident in Forest City, Arkansas, where he allegedly fired an AK-style pistol. He took the plea, accepted the 5-year sentence, served his time, and came home with the industry watching closely to see what move he would make next. And from the outside looking in, what happened next seemed straight out of a movie. Jay Prince Jr., the face of Mob Ties Records, personally flew Finesse out on a private jet and welcomed him with a massive chain, rolling out the red carpet like he was bringing home a superstar. Like this was the start of something legendary, and all the struggle was finally about to pay off. And this wasn't just some random label either. Mob Ties Records is closely connected to the legendary Rap-A-Lot Records, founded by Jay Prince Sr. back in 1986, a Houston powerhouse that helped launch artists like the Ghetto Boys, Scarface, and Bun B of UGK, and played a major role in shaping the sound of Southern hip-hop forever. So when Finesse put his signature on that contract, he wasn't signing with some small independent startup. He was stepping into an empire with nearly 4 decades of history, an empire known across the industry for commanding both serious respect and serious fear. But this is the moment where the dream starts to turn dark. Because according to a leaked document published by Rap Intel in mid-January 2026, the deal Finesse allegedly signed was structured in a way that many industry insiders and legal voices have described as heavily one-sided and potentially predatory.
I'm dealing with shit. I'm dealing.
Deal reportedly broke down with 35% going to Finesse, another 35% going to Mob Ties, and the remaining 30% being directed to Jay Prince Entertainment, also known as JP. And this split didn't just apply to album sales either. The agreement supposedly extended into foreign royalties, merchandise, ancillary rights, touring revenue, and almost every stream of income that Finesse's name and talent could generate. But the real bombshell, the part that had everybody talking when the information leaked, was that JP reportedly maintained full managerial control over all major business decisions. That meant even though the partnership was marketed as a joint venture that would allow Finesse to grow creatively, the real power behind the scenes allegedly stayed firmly in the hands of the Prince family. During viral live streams in January 2026, the Memphis rapper broke down emotionally in front of thousands of viewers, visibly crying as he explained how he had completed 2 full projects with little to no promotion from the label, paid anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 out of his own pocket for music videos, and watched valuable show opportunities get turned down by Mob Ties deals that reportedly could have been worth between $10 million and $20 million if handled independently. It was a raw moment, a man clearly at his breaking point, and the entire internet watched it unfold in real time. And as emotional as the contract issues were, he then started speaking on something that hit even deeper, something that hurt far more than any clause buried in paperwork ever could.
I'm dealing with who they daddy worth $300-something million, bro.
You could hear the pain in his voice before he even found the words to say it. And when he finally spoke, what came next brought the entire power dynamic of this situation into crystal clear focus. I'm dealing with...
What hurt me the most?
Let that sink in for a moment. He's talking about the very people who control his career, the ones holding the keys to his music as individuals born into generational wealth. And then he puts that side by side with his own reality, drawing a sharp contrast that says more than words ever could.
My mama and dad ain't never been worth $10,000.
That gap between $300 million and $10,000, that right there sums up the entire story in just 2 sentences. And the desperation only grew stronger as he began laying out everything he had sacrificed to reach this point.
I did all this. Robbed, killed, stole, deceived, fought, died, lied, just to be right. You got me fucked up.
Those words hit like a freight train when you really sit with the full context, fam. You're talking about a man who came from the absolute bottom, someone who went through the fire of incarceration more than once, who put his freedom, his reputation, and his body on the line trying to build something real for himself, only to realize that the people holding the keys to his career were born into privileged silver spoon kids with a father sitting on a $300 million empire. And the Prince family already carries a long history of criticism when it comes to situations like this. Artists such as Zero have gone on record speaking about how they felt they were treated under the Rap-A-Lot umbrella, and over the years the family's reputation for what the streets call insurance policies and intimidation tactics has remained an open secret across the industry. The internet constantly buzzes with warnings that anybody who crosses the Princes could end up facing serious consequences, and even the jokes and memes about mysterious fallout barely hide the real fear that has quietly existed in hip-hop for decades. Finesse himself reportedly went as far as offering to deliver 5 full albums just to buy his way out of the deal, accusing Prince Jr. of avoiding real conversations, setting up meetings that went nowhere, and spending money on personal luxuries while he struggled just to keep things running. At 33 years old, with 10 kids depending on him, the mental and emotional pressure had clearly become overwhelming. And even before things fully exploded, Lil Woody had already spoken on the situation during a Vlad TV sit-down, breaking down just how crazy everything looked from the outside and calling out Finesse for not doing the one move that might have saved him from all of it.
I told him the only reading he should have been doing is to reading that contract from Mob Tie.
Woody wasn't finished there. He turned the entire reading challenge back on Finesse and delivered one of the coldest lines heard in any interview this year, flipping the narrative in a way that made everybody sit up and pay attention.
You can't call me out on my education when you just sat right there and turned yourself into a slave, but...
Then he pushed the point even harder, breaking down how the warning signs were sitting right there in plain sight, the kind of red flag that anyone coming from the streets should have spotted immediately before things ever got this far.
Should have read your own contract before signing the life away.
Woody kept the pressure heavy, explaining that the contract looked so questionable that you didn't need college degrees or industry knowledge to understand what was wrong with it. And then he asked the question that everybody has been repeating ever since this whole story started, the one question that still hasn't gotten a clear or satisfying answer.
It didn't take a rocket science to figure out there was a bad contract. We grow up watching these rappers sign bad contracts. How the world do we sign one? Help me understand.
That right there became the million-dollar question. And to close it out, Woody flipped the entire literacy debate upside down, dropping some real street philosophy that shifted the conversation from paperwork and blame to accountability and survival.
Everything you just said proved to be a bad contract.
Mm-hmm.
You can't...
Well...
See, the problem with Finesse is you can't come over here and try to make me illiterate. However you pronounce it, at least I can comprehend.
And he still wasn't done, because Woody kept cooking through that whole segment, adding one more gem that had people replaying the interview and looking at the entire situation from a completely different angle.
I was in the shoe, and
when I used to rap on the door and shit, and it's like, man, you know Honeycomb from Alabama? I'm like, nah, man, but you like the third nigga.
At first, he hadn't even heard of the guy, but the homies on the inside kept pushing, telling him to check out this rapper from Mobile who was making serious waves.
You see, like Honeycomb from Alabama, they're like, yeah, man, check him out when you get out. Ooh, you get out, man, he hard, man. You will really like him, man. You remind me so much, honey. Y'all just like, you know.
Once Finesse got transferred to a facility in Atlanta, where they actually had access to phones, he finally got a chance to see the hype for himself and understand what everyone was talking about.
So when I got to Atlanta, jailhouse, they had phones. So I was seeing it. So this the Honeycomb nigga they was talking about. Well, I reached out to him.
The connection clicked instantly, and as they started linking up, Finesse's whole circle confirmed that the respect and mutual appreciation were real.
He with me, so I reached out, I seen it. You know what I'm saying? My guys and shit, they were like, bro, what you, like, he always posting shit. So I reached out, we chopped it up, and it was what it was.
Finesse made it crystal clear that the support Honeycomb Brazy showed him while they were both locked up was genuine, 100% authentic, no cap.
Like I said, bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro, fuck with me in jail. Bro, fuck with me in jail. I ain't gonna never put no cap it out, bro. Like, it is what it is.
So the love was genuine, feel me? Two thoroughbred street rappers from the dirty South who recognized realness in each other and built a bond through the prison system, rooted in mutual respect and shared struggle. Honeycomb Brazy stayed 10 toes down for Finesse while he was locked up, even turning down a $40,000 feature bag from Moneybagg Yo because he was riding with Finesse. On top of that, Brazy reportedly sent $1,500. And when a man locked up takes money out of his own family's pocket to send to you, that gesture carries a weight that can't be measured in dollars. But when Finesse touched down in 2022, the whole situation went sideways almost immediately. Honeycomb expected the favor to be returned, and Finesse says he was willing, but the timing was a complete disaster. He paints a picture of being literally 3 days fresh out the feds, fumbling through an airport for the first time in his life. And in the middle of all that confusion, Honeycomb was on the phone pressing for money.
Christian with me like my man, but he on the phone, he want me to Zelle. I don't even know what the Zelle is. I don't know what.
And the second Finesse couldn't deliver right then, the entire dynamic flipped.
So it's like, but can you go and send it now? And when I wasn't able to do it, when he wanted me to do it, it became a show. So it wasn't like I didn't want to do it.
That whole exchange tells you everything about how this beef blew up, fam. At its core, it was never really about the money, it was about timing, pride, and two guys from the trenches who couldn't figure out how to communicate what they needed without letting ego ignite the whole situation. Finesse eventually slid some bread over reportedly $1,500 to $2,000 and thought the issue was settled. But the silence didn't last, and then Honeycomb hit Finesse up, asking him to pull up on his mother with some cash. Finesse wanted to honor it but couldn't get it done immediately because he was in Memphis and the people he called on weren't available. Then the public fallout got messy fast. Honeycomb Brazy dropped a diss track called Why He Lie, painting Finesse as a capper and a user. Finesse fired back on social media, trolling Brazy and questioning his manhood. Things escalated further when Brazy's mom, Ms. T, jumped in online to defend her son, and Finesse crossed the line by going after a man's mother, which in the hood is basically like detonating a nuclear bomb on sacred ground. On top of all that, snitching allegations surfaced when Honeycomb Brazy accused Finesse of FBI surveillance tied to his 2023 arrest, though Brazy eventually reviewed his own paperwork and retracted the claim. TT Naughty later broke down the entire betrayal angle with